This video will examine the student data page for cognitive skills. I'm logged in as a demo teacher in the personalized learning plan, and from my dashboard to see my cognitive skill data page, I click into the Cog Skills link. This data page shows all of the different students enrolled in my classroom and all of the cognitive skills that are tested within my course. The cognitive skills that are not tested within my course will not show up in the data page of the PLP. In this page, I can see for different students what scores they have gotten around cognitive skills that have been tested in our classroom. I can expand or close the different cognitive skills depending on what my focus is. The goal for this is to see if a cognitive skill has been scored from a project, what did students get in this skill? So you see there's a few students here who actually haven't submitted any projects for the year. For students who have, I can see different cognitive skills they've scored across the way. For example, Addie Pythagoras has scored several 2s and 3s in identifying patterns and relationships, argumentative claim, explanation of evidence, and integration of evidence. She's scored a passing score of a 4 in narrative, and some higher scores around inquiry skills such as asking questions. Other students, such as Addie Descartes, have scored higher across the way while still having some scores below passing. The main things that I would use this data page for as an instructor is to see overall how are students doing with cognitive skills in my classroom, but more importantly, to look in for a specific cognitive skill in a project to see how students are doing on that skill, either after I've tested it in the project or before I'm getting ready to teach the material in a project. To talk a little bit more about that, I might look at a skill such as explanation of evidence. Before teaching explanation of evidence, imagine that I'm working on an essay project with students. Students are going to be explaining evidence that they've spent some time researching, tying the evidence back to their claims and subclaims in their writing to support an overall argument. I might, before going through that workshop in project time, look to see what students are actually failing in this skill right now. What students, and it looks like there's about 20 students in this data set, who have a 1. They have shown no evidence of being able to explain evidence. Oh, sorry, there's only about 4 there. The others are 2s and 3s. So they're moving up, but still receiving below a passing score. There's a set of about 30 students who are right on the border, showing in the orange of a C for their grade level. This is looking at 10th grade students, and I can see these students are at a 4. And then I see a lot of students that are at the 5 and 6 levels. When I'm moving into my classroom, I know that these are the students that I need to be targeting for small group instruction around this skill, whereas these students might be doing more peer interaction that I'll check in with constantly, while the students who have already excelled are going to need activities that push them for explanation of evidence and allow them to grow the skill. After I've taught that lesson, I can go through and score students for explanation of evidence, and I can compare to see, did students move from the 1s to the 2s, to the 3s to the 4s? How did students make progress in this skill post-instruction? So I can use it to identify small groups for instruction, and I can use it to identify the success of various interventions that I've rolled out in my classroom.